Hi guys, my name is Patrick Now. I'm a British guy who's been living and working in Poland for 6 years, and I blog and vlog in Polish. And a lot of people ask me on Facebook, can you do a video to help my partner, my British husband, or my British girlfriend to come over to Poland? And the biggest reason why they can't come is because they're not sure whether they can find work or not. Well, I moved to Poland in 2010, and I'd be lying if I said it was easy. It really wasn't. I thought I'd just give a few reflections and tips on whether it's worth doing it, how to do it, what some of the biggest challenges are from my perspective. Now, I spent 5 years working, helping British companies come into Poland, so I spent a lot of time working across a lot of different sectors. I've done a lot of factories, shops, offices. I met thousands of people over the course of the last few years across the whole country, so I do feel like I've got my perspective on it. Maybe you're going to have yours. And if anyone here is a British person living in Poland and you want to add to this, then let me know. So listen, I hate long videos. I'm going to try and just give you some highlight reflections, and I hope this is helpful for you. I'm going to share some of the knowledge I've got. I moved to Poland in 2010, and I started teaching English, and then I went to work at the British Embassy. Then I managed to find work, a great job at the British Polish Chamber of Commerce, and I'm now working for a private Polish company. So, your name's Bob, and you've got a wonderful Polish girlfriend or wife, and she's badgering you to come back to Poland because she says it's great there, quality of life, great for family, etc., which is all true. What are you going to do about it? Well, I think summarising this, there are four options. Number one, you could decide that you want to stay at the same role you're in and the same sector you're in. Which is obviously the right thing to do, because if you've got a whole load of background experience in one sector, you want to try and transfer. That's how you keep valuable for your employer. Now, the biggest challenge with this is it really does depend on the sector you're working in. A friend of mine came to Poland in the 1990s, and in those days they were so desperate for English speakers because nobody spoke English, that literally you were able to walk into a job. Those days are over. Just because you speak English, you will not find a job easily in Poland. In fact, quite the opposite. Everybody here speaks English. What they really need is people who speak languages like Portuguese, German, Italian, Spanish, Flemish, Dutch. Those kind of languages are really in demand. The fact you speak English gives you really very little credibility or currency that you can trade off at all. That was quite a big shock for me, I must say. Now, what sector you're in really does matter. So if you're working in logistics, then 99% of the businesses in Poland are run in Polish. Most of them are Polish companies because Polish logistics companies are great. But even if they're foreign ones, they're going to be speaking in Polish in the office because most employees are Polish. That's how they keep the costs down. That's why Poland's an attractive place to work in. If you work, for example, in a sector like real estate, you might find that the company lingua franca is in English. People speak in English. Maybe the boss is English. But again, 99% of the employees are going to be Polish. Back in the 90s, those were the days when they needed lots of international employees with good business experience. Again, Poland's a very advanced country now, and Poles can quite happily take care of that themselves. So depending on what sector you're in and what kind of business you're in, then it's really going to apply to you, and you need to obviously go away and do your homework. And what I would suggest you do is that you go and find 5 or 10 companies. You go and have a look at how they're set up, you check out their website, etc. And maybe even contact some people from those companies if you can see a British person working there, and just ask them for their advice within that sector or within that particular company. Would it work even if you don't speak Polish? Number two, knowing that fact, you could always try and transfer your skills and go across to a different sector. Again, depends on you, who you are, so it's hard for me to say at the moment what you could do. Again, difficult because most of the businesses run here in Poland are run in the Polish language. Even if there is a boss who's a foreigner and doesn't speak any Polish or speaks rudimentary Polish, then the rest of the business is run in Polish. So up until the point when they're reporting to the board or to HQ in London or wherever, it's all done in Polish. You're going to find it difficult basically to work in those environments, in fact near impossible. And they're not going to employ you because they know that you're going to have a communications problem with the other employees. So option three, you can go and do what most people do in this situation, which is they go and teach English, because that's a language skill that you can trade off. However, I personally found it was pretty challenging. I didn't have any qualification in it. I thought I wouldn't have to. It turns out you absolutely probably do if you want to teach English on a meaningful level. So I was doing that conversational English that most people do. I tried to get away from that as quickly as possible because it just didn't suit me. I've got a lot of respect for teachers, but I found it was tiring. It was low paid. It was pretty challenging in terms of getting from point A to point B. I think it was mentally exhausting because I really didn't know what I was doing at the time. It did, however, help me to meet a lot of people and spent a lot of time traveling around Warsaw, my city where I live. So that was really cool. But warning, making a living from being an English teacher is pretty damn hard, and I've got respect for anyone that actually does it. And then number 4 option, which I think is maybe most attractive for lots of different reasons, and again, depending on what you do, you might want to think about setting up a business in Poland so that you can work for UK-based companies and service them from Poland. Lower costs, cost of employees, you can still have a pretty competitive business there. So those are 4 options that I think are going to be of interest to you. It depends on you and your circumstances. So I don't have an easy answer here, but what I would say is this: it's much harder than you think. It was much harder than I thought. And it would be best to do a lot of homework and research and contacting people and even coming over to meet people. My biggest piece of advice is, email, managing director of company X in the sector you work in and just say, listen, have you got 15 minutes? Or could you just answer this one question? They might take a couple of weeks to reply, but they will reply. You want to do your homework before you make this decision because it's such a large one. Good luck to you. And I do recommend living in Poland because it is fantastic, not without its challenges. And please like my blog and subscribe. Thanks.